Well, it's a cold, crisp October morning, and myself and friend James are jumping in his Welsh dragon wagon and heading down West Wales in search of a Napoleonic military fort.
Hey, good morning. You okay?
Before that, though...
Costa Kate speaking, what can I get for you?
Yeah, I'm going to get one flat white, please.
A flat white. Do you want it with a smoother blend of coffee?
No thanks.
No, thank you.
Anything else?
Yeah, could I also get one, just coffee with oat milk if you do oat milk?
A latte with what, sorry?
Oat milk.
With oat milk, no
Yes,
problem.
please.
Anything else?
That's it then.
Go round then, thank you.
Ta-ra.
To get there, our journey starts here in Milford Haven Marina. Exciting times. I'm looking for a boat called the Overdale. Somewhere.
I think it's a rip, you know.
Do you reckon?
I think it's a rip, yeah.
You're on a lie low. We're hitching a ride to the fort on Pembrokeshire Boat Charters with Captain Dave, who's taking us and a bunch of like-minded explorers out to sea through the UK's largest energy port, which handles over 30 million tonnes of cargo every single year. But to get there, our journey starts here at the port of Milford Haven, which last year supplied over 85% of gas to the UK during the pandemic. And it's not just its importance as a global shipping gateway that makes this place unique. So just out there is an abandoned military fort which was built to protect this place way back in the 1850s. So let's go explore it. The low tide means we need to be transferred onto a smaller boat, and here to greet us and look after us for the day is Phil Headley, a local who now manages tours of the fort.
No, I can't get it tilt down. I can't tilt it down.
I get on you, being free now. The area was once home to Britain's largest Royal Naval shipbuilding dockyard, so defending this area became a top priority.
Trying to watch my own feet as well, yeah. Oh my God.
With Napoleon III flexing his military muscles in France, this harbour became a prime target for a Napoleonic invasion. It was so well regarded in 1802, Milford was proclaimed by Lord Nelson to be one of the finest harbours he'd ever seen. Wow. So proposals were quickly drawn up suggesting a 6 or 7 gun battery could be built directly into the rock, defending the channel from any potential attack. Over the years, newer parts of the fort were then added, and some walls are nearly 3 metres thick.
There are, like I say, there's holes everywhere, there's danger everywhere, you know, which is what makes it exciting.
Love it.
Look at this. Oh my God. Gonna get kitted out now. I get snapping.
Well, at one point, Stackrock Fort was home to over 200 men, and 16 of these 18-ton guns. The newer fort was intended to resist and defeat ironclad, steam-powered warships travelling at speed, with the main floor providing huge firepower through the gunning point or casemates. So this is the original part of the fort, and then in 1870 they built around the original and added the casemates. The basement housed everything from a barrack store to coal, ordnance and magazine lobbies, together with the washrooms, rain filter room and water tank. The first floor had the barrack rooms for soldiers, an officer's room or mess, and a pantry. So over the next 2 decades, the importance of the fort dwindled, and by 1930, all of the artillery was removed. Fast forward the clock to World War II, and the fort installed equipment associated with a flare path of short Sunderland flying boats that operated from nearby RAF Pembroke Dock. So this room with its glazed white tiles and its concrete block is the engine room, and it's in here they powered the fort's searchlights and the submarine minefield. The minefield was remarkably sophisticated. It was laid across the shipping channel and powered by underwater electric cables. They'd be controlled by observers who had just 5 seconds to determine whether the ship passing above was friendly or hostile. Now it's getting pretty dark.
Do you want a hand coming up?
That is, yeah. Only the floor missing.
I'd go there if you can get it.
Good shout. Good shout. So down here in the basement is where they would store all the munitions ready to be used by the giant cannons at the top. So they had these kind of lift systems where the shafts would take the munition right to the very top, so they didn't have to take them up but 16 flights of stairs. Just imagine staying one of these overnight, because you can stay here on the fort overnight and sleep under the stars, or in a room that's been abandoned. Is it L gunner? L gunner? Whatever's in there is a door. There's actually no floor left underneath me whatsoever, so I've got no idea what I'm walking on. And once you step out of one room, you find yourself in another corridor and another set of rooms. This place is like an Aladdin's cave. What is that? Oh God. Is that the sea down there? It's gotta be, isn't it?
That's really weird, isn't it?
And it is part of some sort of old toilet system, flushed out by the sea. Oh, careful, I'm on some sort of giant trapdoor. Post-war, much of the metalwork on the fort was taken away due to demand for scrap at the time, and the fort was later abandoned. Since then, the harsh weather in this part has meant the condition has continued to decline more and more each and every year. So I think it says drying room. So I'm guessing this might be the kitchen. Looks like a kitchen. Oven maybe? Well, as we've seen the kitchen, let's go get something to eat. These days, Phil runs organised trips to allow people like us to visit the fort as part of an explorer group expedition, and it even includes breakfast. Then, after a bite to eat and some coffee, we're recharged and ready to go to continue exploring. Oi, oi. Now, to visit every room across the 4 floors of the fort, it can take over 3 hours. But for the very best vantage point, you can climb up to the roof, which was once home to the most lethal arsenal in the fort's weaponry. The newly introduced ironclad warships by the enemy meant defences here in Milford had to be quickly upgraded with a new line of gunnery installed. Now, it's easy to see why they chose this location for its 360-degree vantage point right around the port of Milford, and it's here that giant cannons could fire armour-piercing shells 3 miles out to sea. So you wouldn't want to be standing here when they went off. And in the face of still more powerful artillery being introduced, further changes had to be made to the design of the fort, taking the walls from 2.7 metres to nearly 4.5 metres in thickness. And to give you an idea of just how thick those walls actually are, the fort is best seen from above. With its labyrinth of corridors which would have once reverberated to the sound of a potential shell fire, this place would have been a very uneasy place for the soldiers to live and work. This entire structure is truly one of the most impressive fortifications I've ever seen. Now, the fort sold way back in 1932 for just £160, and then it was relisted in 2015 for £150,000. But who owns it now, and what's the plan for the future? Let's go find out. Well, the hope is the community interest company now set up to look after the fort could one day secure funding to bring at least some of the fort back to its former glory and provide accommodation or even adventure activities, much like those recently restored in Portsmouth. The ultimate goal is to create a tourist hotspot, but for now it's a chance for explorers like us to come and visit and even stay the night, much like those who have just arrived by the same boat taking us back to port. I just hope they've packed some thermals.
We're staying overnight!
As always, if you've enjoyed this video, please do like and subscribe for plenty more adventures, and of course, feel free to ask any questions in the comments section below. Until next time, may you have fair winds and following seas.